Doctor Who is back, and so is Mrs. Flood, the mysterious character played by Anita Dobson, who has been cropping up here and there since the start of the 15th Doctor's era. After a handful of appearances in Season 1, Mrs. Flood is going to be in every episode this year in Season 2. We are going to get some more answers about her. Whether or not I suppose we get all of the answers remains to be seen, but there is going to be some sort of reveal about her identity, about, who she is, what she is, why she's been doing what she has. And I'm going to be covering that on the channel every step of the way with weekly videos discussing the latest developments in the Mrs. Flood mystery, much like I did last year with Susan Twist / Susan Triad. So yes, in this video I'm going to be discussing everything we know about Mrs. Flood so far, recapping all of her previous appearances, and also looking at her latest appearance in the Robots Revolution. I suppose that's one thing to address straight away, the similarity, or apparent similarity, between this whole Mrs. Flood thing this year and the Susan Twist thing last year, in that both times we have this mysterious character or actor cropping up in different guises every week, a mysterious older woman as well. Yes, okay, that is pretty similar. I suppose the main difference this time, as Russell T Davies has said himself, is that, Mrs. Flood very much knows who she is and what she's doing. She's very much aware of the fact that she's cropping up every week across time and space, whereas last year with Susan Twist, Susan Triad, she was not aware because they were all suspensors of that person, and she was an unwitting puppet in the grand schemes of Sutekh. So, Mrs. Flood, the story so far, she first appears in The Church on Ruby Road, the first full story for Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor, and they were much simpler times, much more innocent times, because she was just literally Ruby Sunday's neighbour, and also Abdul's neighbour as well, I should say. But yeah, living there on that road in Notting Hill or wherever it is in London, very much just there, being nosy and looking out and seeing what's going on the streets. And of course, for the first half of the episode, that is, the extent of the whole Mrs. Flood thing. That's who she is. And it's only later on, kind of after I think Ruby has been taken out of time and the Doctor goes to fix things and the TARDIS dematerialises and she sees that, she drops her shopping. In the moment, you could be forgiven for thinking that, she is just shocked to see a 60s police box disappear from her streets. But of course, later in the story, or specifically afterwards in the post-credits scene, we then see her turn to the camera and say, "Never seen a TARDIS before." So she has seen TARDISes before. There's something going on there. Is there some change that occurs halfway through that story? Something that kind of awakens something in her mind? Some kind of change? A bit like with previous things with Time Lord characters in the past where they've become human and with the fob watch and stuff, and then their memories have been reawakened. It's like, oh my god, yeah, I do remember that. I do know what that is actually. That's a TARDIS, it's not a police box. Is that what was going on there? It seems kind of likely. It's just one explanation, and we'll get onto these kind of bigger theories and things as the video progresses. But yes, after that, we kind of don't really see her again properly until the Season 1 finale, because we do see her in 73 Yards, but that's like an alternate timeline with the woman and the thing going on with Ruby. I don't think we necessarily learn much about her there. We see her disappearing into her basement. We see her talking about Ruby's phone and how young people are always on the phone and that kind of stuff. But yeah, nothing more than that really, I don't think. It is the finale where things do start to heat up, where it's like, okay, she's now beginning to show her true colours. So she comes into play, obviously, when Carla and Ruby are going off to the unit tower, and they need someone to look after Cherry, Ruby's grandmother. So Mrs. Flood comes around and, well, is there in all intents and purposes to look after her, but ends up being quite threatening, and the lights dim, and it's like, oh, there's a storm coming in, the one who waits, he waits no more. So first things first there, she knew who the one who waits was, or at least she knew of the one who waits. Does that suggest that she is herself part of the pantheon of gods, or one of these godlike beings, or perhaps above them or adjacent to them? There's also the line about hiding herself away, always hiding herself away, which directly corresponds to something the Doctor says earlier in the story about Time Lords being able to hide themselves away, such as Susan, hypothetically. So again, that kind of leads credence to the Time Lord theory. It could just be a red herring, but it's like, okay, yeah, maybe that is a thread that is being built up here. And then, of course, in the second half of the finale, she disappears very quickly and is turned to sand, much like everyone else, but not before she is told, Cherry, to tell your maker, I will come to storm down his gates of gold and seize his kingdom in my true name. my true name. So Mrs. Flood presumably is just a pseudonym. She has a true name, a true identity behind that. Perhaps one that Doctor Who fans would recognise if we were told it up front. If she's a returning character or something. So yeah, again, very intriguing. Of course, we see her again at the end of the story, once again breaking the fourth wall, there up on Ruby's flat in her fur coat. And she's there holding her umbrella and a suitcase and speaking to the camera, talking about how the Doctor's journey is going to end in absolute terror. Da, da, da. A very ominous ending to the series. Perfect, so cool. And I predicted at the time, actually, that she was going to go off travelling. She was kind of upping sticks, leaving her house behind, leaving this street behind, and maybe even becoming Belinda Chandra's neighbour. And of course, that is exactly what's happened. So yeah, I predicted something right. But yeah, Rebel Revolution, that brings us right up to date. She is Belinda's neighbour. We saw her very, very briefly in a scene which was actually a preview clip before the episode went out, so we kind of knew what to expect. She's there again as the neighbour to another companion of the Doctor. Again, another kind of interesting thread there. And once again, kind of delivering these lines with, playful irreverence and like, oh, you take care, Belinda, as you go off into space with these robots in this rocket. And then she spots the Doctor and decides to disappear, but not before she's told the audience, you ain't seen me. So again, breaking the fourth wall, very, very playful stuff going on there. I wonder if she's going to break the fourth wall, every time she appears this season. That would kind of seem like a likely bet to make. And I do hope we kind of see more of her as the weeks progress as well. I think it has been said that she does get like full scenes to herself, so I'm looking forward to that. It'd be nice to have that rather than just like a throwaway thing here and there. So with all that said, what are the most prominent theories at the moment about Mrs. Flood, about her identity? Because, like I say, it has been hinted, very strongly hinted, that we're getting a revelation about her pretty soon, probably at the end of the Interstellar Song Contest, I think. I can just picture that, where, like, maybe the Doctor and Belinda have literally saved the day and gone off and the TARDIS has disappeared, and then she takes to the stage, maybe even sings a song. I mean, I think Anita Dobson has done singles in the past, so that's not beyond the realms of possibility. But yes, she takes to the stage and unveils herself to everybody watching the transmission at home and across space and time, watching the Interstellar Song Contest. And I think that'd be quite fun. Quite a fun way of doing it, like unveiling herself to the world and to the audience before the Doctor finds out who she is. Because, yeah, that would just like kind of put us one step ahead. I mean, there are so many options here. Like, is she just always like stalking the Doctor's companions and kind of keeping watch over them? Is she trying to get close to the Doctor and just like, keep watch over him? Could she be Tek Taeun or some similar figure in the Doctor's life? But then also like with a villainous streak or like something, because I think it's pretty clear that she is a villain of some description. I think it's pretty clear as well that she's going to be a returning character of some sort or another, or like a new version of an old character, so a Time Lord would very much make sense. One theory that has gained quite a bit of traction is that she's some kind of god of stories, and that's why she's breaking the fourth wall all the time. So she's literally kind of like watching the Doctor's life as if it was a TV show or whatever, and he's kind of like pulling the strings like a writer or an author, oh, you're going to do this now, and you're going to do that, and kind of breaking down the barrier between the real world, or the so-called real world, and the Doctor's own reality, and that's going to play into the reality war thing at the end of the season. I'm not sure how much I buy that one myself, I'm going to be honest. I think with the fourth wall breaking, it's probably not going to like get an explanation, I don't think, or something not like that, because again, it kind of plays into another theory at the moment, which is like, the Doctor's living in a TV show, and that's going to be the big revelation in the finale. Again, not too sure about that really, but I think it probably is just like a stylistic device, the fourth wall breaking, a bit of fun, very kind of Russell, very camp and playful. I don't really think there's another reason for it apart from that, but hey, who knows? I should say as well, there has been a potential leak about Mrs. Flood on Reddit. Obviously, it's very difficult to know whether these things are true or not. I'm not going to discuss it in detail or at all here, just broad strokes, just to say that, yeah, I think if that thing did end up being true, I wouldn't hate it. I think, yeah, okay, why not do that? That would be quite fun. I'll leave it at that, certainly for this video at least. But obviously if you do not want to see that, stay away from it. And if you do, you know where to find it. It's on Reddit. These things spread like wildfire. And Russell and Anita Dobson herself actually have both said that a lot of fan theories or leaks or rumours or whatever are quite close to the truth. I believe Russell has actually said that the truth has literally got out there already. Maybe it's the Reddit thing, maybe it's something else. But yeah, apparently someone has already spoiled it or guessed what it is. So yeah, it's interesting times to see which of these rumours are going to end up being true, which of them are going to end up being a load of rubbish, whether there are any red herrings in there or not that have been planted to put us off the scent. But what do you think about all of this? Who do you think Mrs. Flood is based on all the evidence we've got so far? Do you think any of the popular fan theories are true? Do you think she's a Time Lord, the god of stories, some sort of figure stalking the Doctor or his companions? Whatever the case, please let me know all of your thoughts and theories in the comments below, and stay tuned to the channel for more of this over the coming weeks as we get closer and closer to finding out just who Mrs. Flood is. But otherwise, until the next one, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.